look. He made it on time. Already prepped and ready, eh?
I just typed it up.
We had
It was quick.
we had
Pretty efficient.
a great conversation with our guests in the back, and unfortunately, we forgot to press start of the broadcast. Oh wait, no, that's the ladies. We're not like them. We're not amateurs. We got this on the roll, and we're ready to go for today.
We're not amateurs.
Well, it's podcast
Bold
188.
statements.
We better not be amateurs at this point.
We are still absolutely amateurs.
Fair enough.
We are in shambles.
So,
that's what it is.
like, obviously, lots going on. How was your guys' golf fantasy?
There was no point even playing last week.
I forgot to check.
Oh, you didn't have to worry about a tie. I think I was facing you. You had four players. I had one.
I think I was facing Ty.
Oh, who was I facing?
I don't know, but I'm gonna get shit kicked this week.
That
I do know.
Ty had a bunch of Europeans, no Americans on there, I think.
Aha, diversity coming in for the win.
No, I faced Ty. Ty is mini golf expert, right?
Yep, that's me.
Yeah, he went 590 to my negative 65. It's a close battle.
Oh yeah,
They were playing mini golf.
I had one player. That's it, and he got cut, so it wasn't good. He had 10 bogeys and 2 double bogeys.
Yeah, he's probably not making it through with that.
No, probably not. But this week I've got a full roster, but I'm benching Ricky Fowler. He's active, and I'm not going to play him.
This is going to be his breakout weekend.
I hope it is. Then he'll be maybe serviceable afterwards. But right now, he's hot garbage, and he's a waste on my team. So,
Kerry, are you still undefeated?
I am undefeated. And I only had 3 players last week. And I only have 3 players again this week. So we'll see how that goes.
you're not going to pick anybody up?
I still could, but nah. I'm gonna let the dice roll. I'm on a roll. Let's go.
All right. Yeah.
Who's losing again? Is that the Tracy 101 yet?
That's Tracy.
No, it's not Tracy. It's Jeremy.
Oh, Jeremy.
Oh,
Jeremy is last.
See, Tracy's the saint.
There's 6 teams or five teams at 3-5-0. And I'm at 2-6, and Jeremy's at 1-7. Just hanging on.
Yeah.
it must just be a Harris-Simchuk trait to not be successful.
So he's in our fantasy. Oh yeah, we're in the same fantasy football league every year, and he has won the Toilet Bowl 3 years in a row. So he has not made the top 6, and then won the bottom 6 3 years in a row.
Oh, so that's the Harris-Simchuk way: is don't go to the finals and then crush it.
Yeah. We have to figure out when we're going to do our fantasy baseball draft. That's coming up here soon. We have something going on next week. Maybe the 13th?
Maybe the 13th.
Yep.
Maybe because the ladies will be the 20th.
I sure hope Daryl can come on for the baseball again. He was really good at it.
He still hasn't received a punishment, I believe. Ryan O'Callahan.
Yeah. But Ryan O'Callahan still hasn't received a punishment either.
That's fair. So the only one that has been Katie, and she accomplished her punishment. So we have some poor winners and losers that are just waiting for their punishments.
Ryan does man up, though. I did kick him in the balls once. Just like 4 years later, and he just looks at me after he put his head on the wall in Winnipeg. And he comes up to me, he's hammered, and he looks at me, spreads his legs, puts his hands on his knees, and goes, "Just do it! Just kick me, just do it!" And I did. I just booted him. It's great. It was great.
He's in Regina for a full day. Like, come on, man.
What was that?
Daryl was in Regina for a full day.
Oh,
So,
yeah.
like, Ryan, not an excuse.
Was it just Friday?
Just Saturday.
And then headed home on Saturday? Yeah.
He went home Sunday.
That's a long trip for
Yeah.
all that.
He shot like 2150 too, so he wasn't obviously placing wise he was a long way off the cut, but not that far off numbers.
Oh, it's not. Well, we'll definitely get into that, but
Yeah, for sure.
it's not safe to say Kevin wasn't even remotely close as to what the cut was going to be.
Does that mean he owes
No.
us a drink then? Around? Owes you that around?
We might have made worse picks based off of his number, so it might be us.
Oh, he was still the furthest away, I'm sure.
Oh, for sure. Then Kevin owes us drinks.
Yeah, 100%. We'll figure that out.
Well, should we bring in the guest of honor?
Yeah, let's bring him in.
Alrighty. Without further ado, your 2024 Regina Classic champion. Mr. Parker Anderson, welcome to the show, man.
Who is muted?
You're muted.
You're on mute, my friend.
Thanks, guys. Technical difficulties this early on.
Yeah.
Just
Did you
another
watch Carrie's
smooth
intro?
transition.
It's technical difficulties all around.
Yep.
I thought the men were punctual, though.
Oh, never.
We were on time. We were on time.
You know what? There's lots of times where we're actually ready to go on time, but we know that's not our forte. So we're like, no, we're going to wait another 5 minutes so people don't expect that from us later on, you know?
Keep them waiting.
Yeah.
Wanting more.
That's right.
Truly.
Well,
So
congratulations.
obviously, everybody had travels. Let's start there. So how was your travels back? Did anybody else get delayed? Was me and Tyler
The
only
travel
one?
back was not great. The flight there was
No, Tim was-
fantastic. We were supposed to be, I think the flight was a 9:30 flight. So Rob, Mark Miller, I think Derek Dobbs was on that flight, Brad Welton. We all essentially packed our shit, headed to the airport thinking, okay, well, we got to be on the flight in like an hour and change. And that was not the case because the weather kicked in. So at one point we were joking. They said, well, we don't know if the flight's going to take off. There's bad weather, there's fog. And it was like 11 o'clock at night at this point. We were still on the plane. It finally took off at like 11:30, but then there's also the hour time change, as you guys are aware of. So then you're home instead of 12:30, it's like 1:30 in the morning. So long story short, I probably could have went home Monday, but the flight Sunday at the time sounded promising. Not thinking I would, bowl till 7:40 at night, but I guess that's a good problem to have.
I just want to
Parker,
point out,
your
Parker,
time
that's
your
not how
time
time
zone
works,
thing
no.
doesn't work yet.
that's not how time works, no.
It's
Say
the other
again?
way.
That's not how time works.
Oh, you're right. We gained an hour. You're right. We lost an hour going there.
Oh, Parker, you're so pretty.
Mountains. I blame Saskatchewan for that.
Yeah.
That's fair.
Just
They're the
just
only
put us
they're the
on
only
a
ones
mountain.
that don't they're the only
Yeah.
ones that don't change their time, so it's clearly their fault.
100%.
But yeah, that makes for an incredibly long day.
Yeah, that
But-
was.
At least you were driving back.
This is true. Yeah, I know a good chunk of people who drove that. I'm sure Monday. I mean, I wasn't there. Was Monday morning any better, or was it just as bad?
Horrific.
It was
So
terrible,
so that would have been a terrible drive.
Yeah, it was brutal. I mean, we drove the 1 year and it was like that, and it was just whiteout conditions, and we're just like, we're never going to do it again, just because you never know how it's going to change. I looked at the weather. I did not see that coming at all, and yeah, I feel bad for those people that drove home, especially like the Latondras driving up to Dawson Creek. Like that is
It took
That
them
is-
15 hours.
yeah, it's a hike, and it is dicey. It is dicey. So kudos
Yeah,
to
that's
them.
not fun.
Even
No,
the average pros, they had a crappy
Yeah.
drive too.
Yeah.
That
But
video
then add
didn't
on
look
another
good.
5 hours after that, right?
Yeah.
Ryan O'Callahan. Traveling to Thompson from Regina, like that's terrible.
Yeah. He bought a new vehicle though,
He
so
did.
he'll be okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, what happened to his Ford? What's going on there? What's the backstory?
145,000 kilometers, and he rode it into the ground. Yeah. I don't know. I'm sure he'll paraphrase like something in the chat, but he fucked it pretty much. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I imagine that thing's gone through a lot of shit with all the bowling tournaments he drives to. I don't know if we have a more committed player on tour, that's for sure.
Jeff Watts, another one.
And
when he's able to.
Was he there this weekend? I don't know anyone more
Jeff is
committed.
pulling back.
He made all the money in Timmins. Yeah, come on. Yeah.
Yeah.
Parker, we should talk about
let's talk.
maybe our qualifying to start.
Do you want to talk about the two horrendous shifts and then the one good one, or do we...
Let's talk about it all.
Yeah, we'll talk about all of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I would have bowled Friday morning to start. Just didn't really have a good shift, I'd say, throughout the whole shift was kind of mediocre. I wouldn't say I ever put myself in a position where I felt, I'm going to throw 2,200. So I kind of I think it was a low 2,000 if I remember, like 2010 maybe. So it just wasn't a good shift. I didn't feel that comfortable. Played again Friday afternoon. Ty, I think we weren't on the same draw, but we were on the same lanes.
Yeah.
So again, I don't think I started that well, but pieced it together in the middle. Got myself to like 1650 for 6 and was like, okay, you throw about a 570, 580 double, you're there. Tossed a $150 game 7. I said, well, that's a re-enter. And it was funny that shift, talk about horrible mental focus. And when the 7th game, there's a ball jam on 3 and 4. We're on 5 and 6. And I was just like, just go. Like I threw a 12 or something. I go flash. So I got, okay, whatever. Go up the next frame, get a right miss 2. So I should have 28 in the first, but now I got 27 in the second. And then, you start pressing. And at that point, you need a 420 the last game, which is just not realistic.
That's the hard part, right? Like if you want to get back to pace, which is 280, you absolutely need 400. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's the room for error. I mean, like I think we all know you can get on great runs there, but a 220 or 30, which isn't like, a killer in maybe some of the other WCBT events, is just, it's amplified there. Like if you have to average 278 for every 240 you have, let's say, you need a 320.
Yeah, you are not wrong. And we saw a lot of that in like the final shifts, or like, the final games of tournament of the shifts, and you're looking at it, it's like, okay, this person's on pace, especially if you're sitting there watching it, seeing going to be in the top 40, top 24. You're kind of watching all those numbers, and the amount of people that shot 240 in the last game and then dropped 15 spots.
I was chatting. Mark Miller was on the lane beside us, and I think he was just bowling again because he's like, well, I can't sit on my 22-29. Yeah. And he thought he was dead. And we were kind of chatting a little bit. I was like, dude, you got to think if they're 280 average, like they got to throw another 278 or 280. That's not a given, especially when you're pressing. So, that was, I want to say the cut was similar to what it was last year as well.
22. It was up 5 or 6 points.
I want to say it's been like 22-26. This one was 22-29. I think there was a 22-32. I think they were all within 6 points, but 3 points apart.
I think last year was 22-23.
Let me find out here.
I did have this brought up.
That's still, so how do we know how many were over 2,200? Like, was there 50 guys?
I have it right here.
You would think we have all this prepped.
51.
Yeah, that's 50, nuts.
And that's with the double qualifiers taken out of that too.
Yeah.
So 53 shifts over.
Yeah, it is a good scoring house, but like you could still plow, you can still miss the middle, you can still
109 over 2,100 And if you're looking at the TPC cut, you're looking approximately, if I remember around it, about 84 people would have made the cut. that's
crazy.
double. That's double the amount of people, right? Who had that cut.
So last year cut was 22.26. The year before was 22.33.
Right. Wow. So it's been right around the same number every year.
But that 22.33 though only had 260 entries. I say only, but like the last 2 years have been 299. So 39 less entries, but higher qualifying.
And 3 years ago, that was still a 40 cut?
No, I
3
think
years ago would have still been 32.
Yeah.
Last year was the first year they did 40.
Yeah.
So as soon as they went up to 40,
I guess that makes sense then.
the scores got better. Right? Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
Well, and more people.
Well, it's just like you can never feel safe in a cut like that. Like I started the last shift, I had 1,600 or something for 5. I go 205, 220, and I look up and I'm like, I need a 230, 40, which should be, 9 times out of 10 you should do it. But if you don't start that next game well, then all the mental hurdles are going to come back, and you're like, here we go. Like now I got to throw a 150 my last 5, or if you start 90 in the 5th. So unfortunately I started the last game good, and then I just, you kind of freewheel. But yeah, it was like when it cuts that high, you just gotta.
It's funny you say that because I shot 1572 for my first 5, and then same thing. I shot 220 and then 250, and then I'm like, oh yeah, just a 200 gives me 22 and a half. End up with a $1.81. $1.84 would have made it.
And it was funny, not that you shouldn't use excuses, but I knew the 2 bad games I got to the wall set, so I started on like 7-8, kind of just cruised into it. The walls hadn't been playing well on the walls all weekend, but I was like, you got huge breathing room. 250 is good. Nope, 203. Then go to 1 and 2. I'm like, okay, this is probably worse than 15, 16. 223 or something. Then you're like, great. Well, I'm off the wall, but I need 1 decent game still.
Yeah. 15, 16 isn't nearly as bad as just lane 1. That thing is an abomination to the sport. No offense to Golden Mile, but anybody who plays that set, it's obviously we have issues with it.
There are far worse lanes than 1 and 2 though. But I think Tim, you and I actually have an advantage because we play the right side, and we naturally already walk left because we're playing right side, so we're walking towards a target.
Does it feel like you're walking downhill?
It doesn't. It just feels a little more amplified.
It did mess. Because I start a little bit more to the left, so I caught myself drifting left, and then I'd miss left. So I was like, throw a normal shot on 2, go to 1. I would make a small adjustment to be like, well, you got to try to. You don't want to peel it left every time, but yeah, it's weird to play on that lane.
I know when I did my second qualifying shift, I started on 13. No, I started on whatever it was. So my last 2 games were on 15, 16, 1 and 2. I was like, holy shit, I gotta get through this gauntlet in order to make it, right? And then I just there's something about it. I mean, in a top tier center, I guess that's the worst problem we have. It's not the end of the world, right?
Yeah, so. And when you hit the pins still react the same.
No,
that's what I was gonna note too. Like the pinfall, the slanted lane, like you can just, I think, just be a little bit mentally tougher and get that out of your head. But I just don't think the pinfall was the same. Like you'd hang a lot more corners. The 3 pins wouldn't roll out as much. I found like you weren't getting that splash like you would in the middle of the house. So you just, I think, and I mean, I played it on Sunday, a couple of the matches on the sets, but I think you just mentally prepare yourself for that.
Yeah. I mean, I think you lost to Tyler on that one, didn't you? When you and I paired up together, yeah. That's just an excuse then. But anyway, here nor there.
Okay.
No. It was good. I truly think Regina is like a Bonnie Doon, and I know people out there think it's 2 different centers. Honestly, that center is just as much of a pie house as Bonnie Doon is. You don't get nearly the kickbacks like you normally would, but I think everything that hits the middle is just a true shot every time, most times.
And like, almost all shots work. You don't see too many styles that aren't going to work. If you get it to where you're supposed to get it, it's going to work. You watch Gino played great. Watch Gino play, like when he got to pocket, it was good, you know? And like he doesn't have nearly the power that he used to, right? But when he gets to the pocket, it was absolutely fine. It's awesome seeing.
Yeah, he hung 1,000 corners.
Oh, I didn't see them.
I played with him during a set. I heard all about it.
Yeah, I'm sure you heard it. I'm sure we all heard.
There's about 15 frames in the game, maybe like 17.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you're looking at qualifying shifts, I mean, we can all really talk about it. Obviously, Brandon Hagen had a great start. That was a huge start. Jaden played well in the first shift, but man, Will just dominated. Obviously, I hit that train during Sunday, but the kid can play. It was great to see him come out as the first qualifier.
There's just like almost nothing that could go wrong in his style. It's so simple. It is so simple, so accurate. It's awesome. Good kid. Nice to see. Like, look at how young the top three are for qualifying. Right, Will Thompson, Jaden, and Michaela.
Yeah,
that's wild.
Yeah, that's nuts. That you're that young and you're throwing over 300 for 8 games.
Will's the oldest at 20.
Yeah.
Right. It's awesome.
2, 3, 4. I'm just looking through this and seeing how old Carey is to the rest, but I think he was 6th or 7th oldest of the top 40, if I remember correctly.
Carey?
Mm-hmm.
No comment. He's just turning red over there.
You can hit. Can you hit him through the screen, Carey, or is that not?
We just kick him off the stream.
Oh, okay.
I really wish I could.
So obviously you qualified with your third shift, Parker. Where do you remember what seed you ended up finishing? You were in the top 24 this year.
Yeah, I think it was 8th, which is funny enough because I was talking with Sean Schwartz and he's like, "Oh, you cost my old lady $100," and I was like, "Dude, I wasn't really thinking about that. I was thinking at least get top 24. With the way you started, I'd prefer to obviously avoid the play-ins if I could. But yeah, so I finished. I think I qualified 8th.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you played the play-ins last year. How was it not having to do that this year?
I do think it is an advantage. I don't know if it's a massive advantage, but you just get an extra 2 match. Like it forces you in the plans to go 2-0, just to put you in the same position to the 24 who aren't playing the plans. And then, you have played 6 games, so maybe some fatigue sets in. I know, like last year in the plans, I went 1-1. I obviously lost to you, Tyler, and then I beat, I think it was Tyson Nelson. So you're coming in, now you're on 1 life. And so that's a lot, it's just more difficult, frankly. So
I always wondered if like the pace change would affect people too. You go from 1-on-1 to 2-on-2 and then back down to 1-on-1. It's interesting to me. It's like completely different styles of play.
Mm-hmm.
The 1-on-1 you get to like determine like seed gets choice or whatever, and you have a little bit of an advantage that way. You go to 2-on-2, you're facing the same person on your lane. And like there's no. It's just different. It's a different mindset. It's interesting.
I kind of always think that to myself when you're playing Sunday match play. I kind of think to myself, just get through the doubles, like the 2 on a lane, and then it becomes a totally different ball game. I think because you're relying on another person on the other match to kind of keep pace. When you're playing 1-on-1, you make your own pace with the other player, right? So
yeah.
I find it a little bit different on that aspect. I also thought like with Regina, I'm biased. I like how if I'm playing, say, Parker, I'm playing him on 5 and I'm playing across from him on 6 instead of playing on the same lane. I find it just a little bit of a different feel, like because you're going ball for ball with them instead of a different feel on when you're using.
Yeah, I understand why they do it this way though too.
I understand too. Yeah.
Yeah. It gives an advantage to like the seed for that as well, right? Because you could choose whether you finish first or finish last. Whereas the other one, there really isn't. But it is different. It's just different. Not bad, just different.
Yeah.
Before we get into maybe the nitty gritties of your Sunday, did you play? You played trios and bakers. How was that?
Yep. Yeah. So the trios was funny actually. We had.
Weren't they? Didn't they have?
What's that?
Yeah, I think we qualified fourth. But our first two games were not. Like we shot 740, 770, and Miller was terrible. So Rob and I were like, dude, you're going first. Like you stink. You're overanalyzing everything. Just go first. And then he goes like spare 9-bagger split, I think. He throws a 410. I throw a 350. Rob has a decent game. We throw like 10-14. And then we really didn't do anything the fourth game either. But we had a 10-14. So that kind of just was a lot of points to carry us into the match play. And then the match play match, we played quite well. I think we shot 820 or 830. But we ran into the team out of Manitoba. It was Derek Orn, Colton, and someone else. And they just Nelson Frank, I think. And they just played super well. I mean, we were kind of hanging with them. They threw a 6-bagger and 8-9. So I mean, they all have a double coming home. We're down 30. Like you need big help. So we lost that match. And then the Bakers, I think DB subbed in for Kara. So we hung on to 4. I don't think Kara wanted to bowl. I think she was dying and just let herself go away.
She was medicated, that's for sure.
Yeah. And we were just kind of steady. I don't think we had a game over 350, which in like a Bakers, you'd think you should be able to do that. Like it's just corners. I think we ended up getting fourth, but we were just kind of steady Eddie the whole way.
Thanks.
Yeah. Ty, after game 15, I looked at Ty because we were looking at our totals, and I looked up and I was like, okay, it doesn't feel like we're doing great, but like our total is higher than the others. Like,
well, it's funny too because we knew we were chasing you guys, but if you remember, they are missing the first game in that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
and we had a bad first game. We had like a 230, and I knew you guys had a good first game, so I was like, well, you have to now take that into consideration.
Yeah,
they have like 80 more than what's really actually up there. Yeah, then like if you take the difference. But no, we had a pretty good group. I think Derek Dobbs struggled a bit. He missed the middle a lot, but the other guys like Connor's great in a format like that. We just said, Connor, you're bowling 2. None of us want to bowl that much. You bowl as many frames as you want, even though you need to cut. You bowl again, and I was like, what are you doing? Like,
yeah, I don't know why he wanted to play another shift.
Yeah, that was one of the funnier moments. That Saturday afternoon, I'm ready to play, and he's like, "Do you want to do doubles?" And I kind of just like. I was dumbfounded. I was like, you're bowling? You have 22.65. What are you doing? He's like, oh, well, I budgeted for 2 shifts. I've only played 1, so I just like to give out a $225 donation. I was like, you are not well in the head. I like you, but you...
Connor.
He might be the most well in the head out of all of us. like, you don't hear that guy say anything negative about himself ever. He's just the happiest human being. You know?
And I think he honestly shot... like identical totals, like within 5 points.
Yeah, it was within like a few sticks.
But he did gain 2264, and then the other one was 2263.
Yeah,
3-point difference. I had a privilege to play with him his first shift, and everything he was yelling and screaming for the bottom, guys, for the bottom, for team total. And I'm sitting there, and I don't know who it was, and somebody's like, why are we playing for team total? He's like, we're a team here, guys. And I was just like, okay. And I was like, you do your best.
Yeah. Honestly, there's always at least one person throughout the weekend that comes up and goes, what's up with this guy? You know? He's just who he is. He's awesome. It's great. It's great. But yeah, you're right, Parker. The Bakers, like, we ended up averaging 293, and I think that's the reason why it wasn't computing in my head, is that we should be able to score higher than that. You know, it's a no tap. It's like 293 shouldn't it be? Like,
especially when real bowling, people are averaging 280 for 40 games. How, like, are we that just checked out and being stupid, like, as a whole? Like, that is bad.
Yes.
You can't just throw 8 corners.
Yeah. It was funny.
So before we get into, like, obviously your win on Sunday, was there any other moments on Sunday that stood out to you, like maybe with Brandon Mansell or anything earlier in the day?
Yeah, I think like the first match against Greg, that's where maybe the play-ins, again, a little bit of, to win one of these things, the combination of, skill, luck, lots of variables got to go your way, as I'm sure you guys are all aware of. But I think Greg had won his first 2 in the play-in, and it looked like he just came out a little flat, which, unfortunate for him, but fortunate for me. And I got ahead early and kind of just held on to the lead. I gave it back a little bit in the second game, but I had a good third game going. But I think the match that probably was the TSN turning point of the tournament for me was I played Matt Houston, I think, in my third match. So I had beat Greg, lost to Tyler McLean. Then I had Matt Houston again on the A side right away, and I'm on 1 life. So if I don't win, tournament's over. And like, if you were to ask Matt, I'm sure he'd say the same. Like, we were both terrible. Like, I won that match with a 726, and I looked across. If I was playing anyone else, I lose by 100. And like, that's where you kind of just good timing or run into someone at the right time. Like, he had threw a double, I think, at the end, but I had opened 9. I struck out 10 to force him to at least throw the first strike. So I barely win the match. And then I kind of just told myself, I'm like, dude, you got a massive break here. Like, take advantage of it and try to get on a run. And then after that, I started rolling a bit.
I think that was on 15-16, you guys, or at least on the end lane, 13-14.
No, yeah, right beside. Yeah, you guys were on. I think Timmy and Tyler were 15-16. I think Mitch was 13-14. We were 11-12.
Yeah. Oh, Colton and Mitch were. Yeah.
Tim was trying to block that match out of his mind. He's putting you down there instead of himself.
You know what? There's only so much you can do when both my matches shoot 700 doubles at some point.
But that's how the weekend is, right? And that's what Golden Mile is going to be. If you're pressing, you're in trouble. And like, so Parker has a match against Matt, and they're both pressing, and it comes out, and Parker grinds it out a little bit better. It comes 726 to 673. But then you're going to have the next match where it's like, who's going to throw the most strikes? It's just 2 different styles of game. It's crazy.
There's good luck, right? Like, you got to have some luck in these, right? To hit someone at the right time. Like, Matt could have easily threw 850 at me, and then I'm done in the A16s. I'm packing my balls.
But you don't know how
I'm sure
you would have responded to that too, though, right? I mean, like, if he starts throwing a bunch of strikes, you might have thrown a bunch of strikes too.
Right.
Just everything is so contagious, right?
I think everybody can attest that you have to get lucky. You're going to have a dog match here and there. You're going to have lights out matches. You can't be perfect all the time. And especially playing 27 to 32 games that Sunday, there's going to be some bombs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just a given. I mean, that place is just too good of scoring. Or, I have to say, like, I totally fangirled out. I was telling Carrie when it happened. But the Brandon Mansell and yourself match, I was just, if there's a bowling match you want to watch and you're going, the last half of the game, it was that match. It was incredible. Like, it was just like, Brandon throws a 5-bagger and then you come out and you need to shoot 23, I believe it was. And
that was actually probably the most nervous I was all day. I didn't feel like after the Matt match, I kind of just got in the zone. I didn't really actually feel that nervous. And even that match I entered, I start, because I've gone on a heater against Mitch, I start like spare 7-bagger against Brandon. And I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to have a huge lead. And I'm not really paying attention to the scores. I'm kind of just doing my own thing. And he throws like 340. Yeah. I'm like, dude, I threw 355. I got a 15-point lead. Like, awesome. And then I throw another 350 at him. And then he throws a 260. So, yeah, I was like, I'm up 100. Things are good. I don't start the third game that well, but neither does he really. But then from the seventh frame on, he runs a 6-bagger. So I'm thinking, even though I'm not playing that well, I'm like, if he misses one of these strikes and it doesn't get 8, it doesn't get 9, Like, it doesn't even really matter. But no, he's got to get freaking all of them. And then the best was, I think it was Mark Miller, because I finally asked him, I'm like, okay, if he does run the sheet, what's the number here? Like, the running totals, I didn't want to try to do the math. He's like, you need 20. I'm like, hey, I put my music in. I get a tap on the shoulder. He's like, dude, you need 23. I want to get this right. I don't want you to go, because truthfully, that is a huge difference, because I won both matches. I could go spare plow or spare pitch. We tie, I win 2 out of 3. Like, my whole mentality changes. But he's like, you need 23. So obviously I needed a spare, and then just a side hit was enough. But yeah, I thought I had the match in control till about the 26th frame. And then next thing I know, I'm almost going to get eliminated. I'm like, what is happening?
Yeah. And it just gets tougher and tougher, right? Because at that point, there's no pressure on Brandon.
Right. Yeah,
Right?
he's freewheeling. He's like, well, I got nothing to lose.
Exactly, yeah. It all just kind of, that whole momentum shift is just crazy. And then you got to find a way. You just have to find a way. And
I said to Carrie, and I don't know if you feel the same way a little bit, or maybe us, we can talk about it. But in that place, when you play match play, you're trying to run them out of frames. And I just don't think in that house you can run somebody out of frames. Just by, like, yes, spares and strikes together, that's fine, but you might have to throw double or triple in the last 2 or 3 frames in order to shut them out, not running them out of frames. And I think that's a big thing. And I don't know, I have to ask this question. So when you're playing Brandon and you had to get a split, or at least an 8 count, did you play your normal shot, or did you change your line?
I just played a normal shot. I said, dude, hit the side, be aggressive, give it a chance. If it's thick there and you finish the shot, you're hopefully going to bust it up. Yeah. So I didn't change anything. I just threw the same shot, really.
Good answer.
Good answer. You didn't thin to win in, eh?
No. I'm a field bowler. I don't even know what I'm looking on the lane carry. Like it starts at the pins, then it's the foul line, then sometimes I don't even know what I'm looking at.
Interesting.
Tyler's like, what the hell is going on?
Tyler's like, I lost
into my brain.
I do want, like, obviously we're going to talk about a few other things, but I do want to kind of close in on that final match. Obviously you're playing Tyler in the final, if people didn't know. Tyler's obviously been in quite a few finals as of late, and getting into that final match, it kind of went back and forth. Then you had a bit of a lead going into the last half of that last match, and then Tyler out of nowhere makes a ball change, throws a double, gets tapped, and has a chance to. I think you had to throw a mark in 10 for sure. I think
I needed the double shuts them out. I think strike corner. I think again we're talking when Timmy's saying running out of frames. That's what I was thinking. But I think the hardest part about that match, again, I didn't really feel nervous, but I'm coming off such a high from the semifinal match that, like, you start bowling in 3 minutes again. So I started out, like, I remember looking at it shows the speed of the ball. In the first 2 frames, I'm throwing it like 50. And kind of, if I was 47.5, 48 was the perfect speed. And I just told myself, I'm like, dude, your adrenaline's going way too high. Mm-hmm. Like, you got to amp it down. So, yeah, I think the first game I think Ty went plow, but then ran a bunch of strikes. And I was just kind of, I think I might have had a double in there, but I was just like spare strike for 270. And fortunately, I think Ty, you might have had a double or at least a single coming home and plowed in 10.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, even though I'm down, it's kind of a huge win. Now I'm only down 36, but I was preparing to be down maybe 80. And then my whole mindset might have shifted. And I think the second game we kind of tied. So I was like, well, I'm within 30. And then I got on a bit of a run again.
Yeah, for sure. As I'm sure you could attest, and Tyler, there was multiple matches where you see somebody down 100, 130 after the first game, and then they claw back. And it's like Tim was saying, you could never run a person out of frames. It always seemed like it was coming down to the 10th frame. It's like, how does all these huge 900, 1,000 matches coming down to the last frame. That doesn't make sense.
It's
Like
insane.
those matches should be over, shaking hands in frame 22, 23. Like
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah. I kind of told Sin after the second game, after Will stomped me with a 787. I was like, I might as well just shake. And then she's like, I had 600, and he's like, you shouldn't shake, and then you try to give it a shot, right? So
Yeah.
It's just
And
throw
you
strikes.
got him to like the 8th and 9th frame, right? Where he needed to throw some arcs. Like
yeah.
Well, I think Timmy, you had 6 in a row because I think or 7. So when you do that to someone, even though they get a lead, again, they start gripping the ball. They're not even thinking. They're like, just piecemeal it together. Just get a spare. If you don't get a spare, get a 15. But that's a horrible mindset.
It is.
And then the person down is just like, I got nothing to lose. Like I'm gonna try to throw a billion strikes at him.
When I played Tyler, obviously, I shoot 330 first game. I think he shot like 2-0 or it was something
190.
like. Yeah, thanks. And I looked at Henry and I said, I had a bang out. I got to get some point lead, and then he starts off 5-bagger, and I was like, what the fuck? I knew it was coming at some point, right? Because he did all the rest of the fucking matches out there, and I was like, oh, here we go, right? And then,
it's my new game plan: be down 140 after one, and just take it away.
Yeah.
Well, I got same thing with, again, a little bit of good fortune. I played well after, but the match against Mitch, same thing. I started absolutely horrendous. I think I missed the middle 3 of my first 4 frames. I had like 57 after 4. He has 120 in 4. I'm like, great. You're playing one of the best players. You're down 60 to start the freaking match. And he's on like a double. And I get like a 230. He plows in 10 for a 306. And it changed my whole mindset. I was like, okay, yes, I'm only down 70, not 130 or 140. And then I went like spare 7-bagger, and I just kind of kept the momentum going. And same thing, I think I did run him out of frames eventually by like frame 8 of the third game. But you just you get on one of those runs, you just want to ride the hot hand as long as you can.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. And I, like you guys keep saying, Regina allows you that little bit where the 6, the 7-bagger, they're there. So it's not out of the realm to gain 100 points in a game and stuff like that. But it was taking away a lot of points that, like you said, they had that giant lead, and all of a sudden they're not paying attention as much, or they're just thinking, oh, gotta run them out of frames. I don't have to throw that perfect shot. And then all of a sudden splits, misses, can't spare a chop off. Like they add up quick, and then it's like, oh my god, I just gave away 100 points in one game. Like
every open frame is a nightmare.
Yeah.
I think it's too at a house like that. Like if you're down, I mean, I'd be curious. You guys thought I wasn't as worried if I was down because I knew if I can throw a good shot, I'm gonna run a lot of strikes. If you're playing at a house like, I'll use Paradise for example, where you are gonna just hang a lot more corners. If you're down, like it's gonna be harder for you to claw back. It just is. So I think if you're up, there's more peace of mind knowing, be like, it's going to be rare if this guy throws a 5-bagger at me. It can happen, but it's unlikely. Whereas at the Golden Mile, the guy can throw a 7, 8-bagger at you at any time. Yeah. And if you don't have, so if he has 270 and 7, and you were 80 up, well, now you need 190 and 7 still. Like so there's just huge swings in the matches.
Yeah.
Was the old KG like that? I don't know. Obviously, none of us played it, right? But I have a feeling it was something just as crazy or silly sometimes.
A lot of kickbacks. Yeah, a lot of kickbacks, and like it kind of played like Bonnie Doon. You would hit it anywhere, and the pins would just lay down and roll into each other. But you'd get kickbacks too, so like it was ridiculous. Like it didn't. Yeah. Every shot worked there. It didn't matter if you threw hard or if you threw soft. Where even like you were kind of saying, the Golden Mile kind of lends itself to everything. I still think there's a disadvantage to the slower players at Golden Mile.
Yeah.
Kind of same thing at Bonnie Doon.
You see Gino, right?
Yeah, KG was different. Yeah. There we go, Darcy. Pins fell when he closed the doors. 100%.
Yeah, I played there once just for a Saskatoon bowling school, right? And I just remember it was just sort of somewhat similar with that kind of aspect. I think the center and to think those guys in Ontario that played at Timmins, and Timmins was, I think, a fairer scoring house, but before that they played Hopedale. So I mean, it's a huge difference when they came out there and they got away with a lot more stuff. I think down at the end of the day.
So Parker, you obviously, I would say a fair number of people saw your like written interview on that 5-pin channel. That was with Steve Parker.
Yeah, Steve had reached out to me on Sunday at some point, so I gave all that stuff to him on Monday.
Did that
before you continue on this? Have any of you done 23 questions with Steve Parker?
No.
Yes. Me and Parker.
Nice. We're in a
club.
Mine was also 15 years ago, though, so yikes.
Did that kind of help the feeling sink in? Like, hey, someone's asked me all these questions about this event. Like, I actually did it. Like, we kind of talked about it before the podcast, but
yeah, I think it was more, and a couple of people had asked me too. Like, I remember when the tournament was over, same thing that Timmy said at the start. I said, "Oh, like you won 10K, like that must be awesome." It's like, sure, the financial part of winning 10K is nice, but like at the end of the day, you play to win. So if you win a tour event, it's like I kind of compare it to like golf in the sense it's so hard to win on the PGA Tour. Like it just, you can be a really great player. You could win like one of these every 4 or 5 years. So like to win one, to get a title, like no one can take that away from you. So that's worth more than the money, truthfully. So I think that
history books.
When it started getting closer and closer, it was just kind of like keep your focus as long as you can. Just like you got to finish the job still. But yeah, to answer your question, Ty, I think after you start reading the questions that he's asking you, it did resonate and kind of sink a little bit closer to home.
Nice.
Yeah, I did read one. It says something about Open provincial champions and national champions this year, or something.
Something about extra
is
motivation.
Is that what I read?
You must have, yeah. I mean, we've been on the losing side of it the last like at least 4 years, 5 years.
Yeah.
So
it'd be Tyler's gonna do our talking because Tyler's gonna play lead, you're gonna play lead,
and we're gonna be like, okay, Tyler, we need a 10-bagger, go.
I don't know if I'll play lead, but we'll let Rob dictate that.
Yeah, that's
I'll tell you what. If you have young Wyatt against you in Central, that's another good player. You guys, just saying, he gets up there. Yeah.
You guys have a hell of a team this year. You guys have a great team this year. Like a hell of it. I mean, you guys always do, but it just seems like even personality-wise, like it seems.
Yeah,
like
it's a bit of a different team. I kind of like it was last year, but without the guys on the team this year, they've all played prior. So even though they're like I think it says there's 3 rookies, but like John's played before. He went to a nationals. Curtis has been a while, but he's played. Derek Dobbs, same thing. Like they can all, if the pressure gets ramped up, I don't think it would affect them as much as like Trent and Trevor last year. And I mean, there were moments where like you could tell they were so nervous, and it was like you got to be able to just like, how do we calm them down? It was almost impossible. So,
but man, did Trent's ball ever work there though?
He played there for so long, right?
It was awesome. It was wild watching. It was awesome. I'm sitting there trying to think, how can I slow my ball speed down 20 kilometers? I'm terrible. How can I make that happen? Yeah.
Yeah.
So aside from Open, what are you looking at next? Are you like thinking about Red Deer? Are you thinking about Green and Gold? Or is it kind of just like sit in the moment and enjoy it?
I think the Open, I mean, I would say that's still, I think the WCBT, what you guys have done and just the hype behind it, I think I love those events. But if I had to name one event, like I just love the Open. So that would be winning an Open provincial, whether it is single or a team. I'd rather win on a team. Just I think it's more fun winning on a team. I've played team sports my whole life. So I think that aspect of it is just that much sweeter. Mind you, winning a single, like, you are kind of in that elite territory if you do something like that. So I think there's that element, but that's kind of next on the docket, just to like Prepare for that. I think from the point system, if you win an event, like, are you guaranteed to play in the WCBT? From my understanding,
Yeah.
or in
That
the
is
Tour
correct.
Championship.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of neat. I think that knowing I won the event, I think that sunk in a little bit as well.
Yeah, the whole playing under the lights is something awesome.
It's
just so different.
You'll enjoy it, and being part of the Gallagher Cup too. That's something different that not a lot of people have experienced before, and you might be team innovator, so that's kind of nice.
That's the best team. We don't win anything, Parker, but we're way more fun.
Like you got to define what best means, because
doesn't Kerry Schneider beat Dex in every match he plays, or how does that work?
No, I beat him. I beat him.
Oh, you did beat him.
Oh, 100% I did. Did anyone notice how quiet Regina was this year, though?
I miss Schneider. Honestly, I did.
I could pee in peace, you know? Just sitting there, taking a leak, not having to worry about anybody. It was awesome.
Oh, that's too good.
No, we do miss Schneider, though.
Yeah.
We do miss
I was going to say about your singles, Derek Holm won last year. He won a tour championship, so maybe it's in your cards. Maybe he follows the Calgary suit. We don't know, right? So
I do think, those, they're at home too. The Northern boys are going to be, I'm sure, gunning for that.
Absolutely.
And not just in the singles event, like I don't know the full team, but you have all three Tompkin brothers. You have Ryan.
They're very good.
I think Israel was on one of the teams. I think he was on the
team.
Just they're at home. They got the crowd behind them. I think the North are going to be there till the end, right? The whole men's division is good.
I love it. The parity across the entire province is phenomenal. It's gonna be
It's very strong.
Yeah.
Tommy is said it's his house, so we better watch defend it. He's in his house, his championship. So,
Tim,
the guy can walk.
Tim has a notebook written down of all the quotes from people. So,
for sure, it's great. But this is a quote. Kerry seems the best team on paper.
Let's settle down here. Tim,
are you trying to talk the other teams up again, Tim, just to take deflection off? Is this the angle we're playing?
This is Tim's whole strategy for the last 10 years.
Honestly, keep doing it, Tim. It works.
I don't know. Calgary's second best. North is up there too. Man,
we might be fourth.
Fourth, maybe fifth. Yeah. We got.
Shelf has Taylor Hanley. It puts us ahead of us for sure.
We got a 41 or 42-year-old rookie on our team. It's tough. And everybody's like a rookie.
I can't believe Kerry just let him keep going.
We got 3 more podcasts. Okay, yeah, this is 3 more weeks of this. Don't worry.
Yeah. I might have to take Tim's admin privileges away so he can't just let himself back into the room.
Not wrong.
We should do a podcast live on the bus on the way up.
Oh my god!
Our podcast on Wednesday. We both singles on Wednesday. We're not on the bus.
We could do it on Tuesday. Rules do not define us.
Yeah, that's fair. Rules don't define us.
Okay, we got someone who doesn't know what he looks at when he bowls.
Not that I don't know. Is there a reason why we're bowling at 8:30 in the morning on the Wednesday?
I asked the same question. It's always that way.
You get there Tuesday. I'm like, it'd be great to sleep in one of the 4 days, but we got to bowl at 8:30.
To be honest with you, that is well. First of all, I thought we played at 8:30 before. I think it was 10 o'clock, maybe. Whatever. But that is the center's discretion.
Honestly, there is a big difference between 8:30 and 10 o'clock.
100%. And I'm not bowling either. So, I will be there to support. And first ball. I'm going to call it right now. First ball.
Will you?
Yeah. Not nine.
Why?
Cindy,
why not
Cindy
the ninth game?
I'm going to be at my best behavior. Not ninth game. Not ninth game this year.
I'm just thinking because at that rate, because I've done singles a couple times now, the 3 to a lane, it's not at the same team pace. It's 30 minutes a game. We'll be done. I bet you we're done at 1:30 to qualify.
I don't think so because in the past, even at Bonnie Doon, it was like more like 40 minutes a game, and
But
then we actually
even if it's
there's actually a lunch
2:30.
period. There's actually a lunch period in there, and then we actually had to skip through it in order to be on time.
We don't have a
Yeah,
lunch period this year, do we?
There's not a lunch
It-
period in
it's-
the 10 games.
Look
I've
at
never
it. It's
experienced
always
that.
The
it's
schedule says lunch, but the
it's
time block
always
isn't
says it.
set. The time block isn't
We've
set for lunch.
never
It's an
done lunch.
It's like
No, 'cause
10
we
minutes
won't- 'cause-
extra, and that's it.
No,
Are
it's
we
half
playing
an hour.
seniors
But
division?
time out. Let me finish it before I talk. Stop over talking. Every year we've had to skip it in order to gain the extra time to be at least somewhat on time.
Well, then maybe take it out. Obviously, it's not working.
Or-
And no
maybe-
one wants to stop halfway through to have lunch.
Hundred-
No
we've
one.
never done.
No
we've
one
never
wants to
done
do
it,
that.
and don't worry, we'll skip right through it again. But that's just the way things are, and you guys are gonna be finished at about 4 o'clock probably.
Oh, I think we'll be done. We'll be done qualifying at 2:30. We'll be done step ladder by 3:30. See ya.
Ooh. Stepladder seems to take a little bit longer than that.
Yeah.
You know what?
All right.
At the end of the day, I think we should have done 6 and 3 and just matched up our zones. Just kidding, guys. That's a different topic for another day.
Yeah. I'm sure Ontario loves you talking about that.
Deflect.
No, I honestly thought it's up to the center's discretion, and for some reason, I think we're just used to the 8:30 start. I think kind of went to that.
No one got used to an 8:30 start.
Well, with the tour stuff, I mean, I think that's the reason why I just thought, that's what we did last year. Yeah,
No,
It's all
last year
good,
was
though.
for sure 10 a.m.
Yeah.
probably. Yeah. I mean, I also was coaching, so give me that.
I mean, Tim, you weren't bowling in the event last year, right? I mean,
Oh, here we go. Yes. Yes, thanks, Parker. You win one thing, and you come on here. Okay.
Well, that is the
comes
whole
in.
point.
So
comes
we
in
learned that Tim can dish it. He just can't take it back.
I love it. Parker comes in and takes a broom right to Tim's face. Boom, there it is.
I got to delete that out of there somehow. I don't even know how.
I'm just gonna re-add it.
Oh.
We have to get it in there at least once a week.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am looking forward to it. Can't wait for the Open. Are you guys all driving up? Are you guys? Did I hear some people might be flying up?
Yeah, I booked a flight.
Oh, really?
So C5 is comping some of it. So when we heard that, if they're going to pay for a portion of it, it's kind of like, what's your time worth to you? Like if you're only going to pay like $200 or $300 out of pocket for a flight, obviously everyone has different financial situations, but it's like for me, I could drive 7.5 hours each way, or I could take an 1.5 hour flight. So I think me, Dobbs, and Johnny are actually flying, and Rob, but the other 3 are driving up.
Right. Do you guys have that layover in Edmonton on one of the ways?
I don't.
No, that's
Yester's
impressive.
died.
Those are
Normally,
violent.
that GP, it's like a loop. So last time I flew from GP, I had to fly all the way to Calgary and then back to Edmonton.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's brutal.
fun.
That was
They have
straight
the
to my
loveliest. I don't like that sentence.
nipples. Instantly.
Nope. Best security guards ever at the GP airport.
Oh yeah.
Fun fact.
Yeah, I haven't been there since youth challenge probably. So I'm sure the lanes have changed and whatnot. You see the Holy Rollers get chop strikes every 5 PL. So I mean, sorry, that was out loud. You can cut that out of the.
I don't know if you've looked at the upper left-hand corner there, Parker, but it says live.
Okay, right.
I do think I think Kerry and I are the only ones who played up in GP last time. Scoring was obviously tough. It's a much different center than it was up there, but the center was clean. It was, the one thing I like about it, I know it's a proprietor nightmare not having an extra set of lanes open, but the 12 lanes running, the energy was super there. Everything, and I love that.
Tim, how clean was it? Was it Swiffer clean?
they cleaned the lanes with their Swiffer. Like that's what.
Yeah, I heard.
Swiffer wet jet.
I heard some good stories because my mom was on the mixed team that year that won, and she was telling me Harvey Pokesa on the lane with the hole.
Yeah.
He would change his whole approach. So he would take a ball and loft it to get it over the bad part of the lane, just on that lane. Then he'd go to the next lane and he throws normal ball, and then he'd go to 9 and he'd do a big loft again. But I was like, that's obviously a real thing.
Yeah, it definitely worked for him because he was an all-star that year too. So if I remember correctly, so there's that. But yeah, there was like like where your holes on the lane for your your dots or your dials, like on the where your dots are in the foul line are, where Derek Holm would normally look at. That was one of them was popped out. So
good.
it was a little bit of a ski ramp there, and the lanes were super dry, and I know this is a lot different up there, so I think it's going to be more inducive to scoring.
Let's talk to
They
Tyler.
look better.
Tyler's played
Other
the
way.
Oh, mine's showing it right.
Oh. No,
Yeah, now you're getting
near your
now you're
camera.
Really? Oh, that's weird. That makes me really uncomfy.
Yeah, you know where my sign was wrong the other week.
Yeah. Ooh,
Um,
okay.
Yeah, Gerald's done a great job with the lanes. Still super clean up there. He's full all the time. Birthday parties, the leagues, company parties. So he's put a lot of work. Honestly, pinfall is a-okay. Last time I was there, I shot 8-0 for 3, and that's bowling with like my partner who does not bowl at all. So my focus was like 0 out of 10.
Don't
Yeah,
be
based on the
blaming Joel.
scores, it does look a lot better. Like I remember the last time I think it was my last year youth challenge or second last year, and it was incredibly difficult. Like I remember you would used to be like 255, 260 to make that third spot at Youth Challenge Nationals. That year was like 238 or 240.
Yeah.
And it was just, you would not throw a triple. Like that was just not going to happen. Like getting a strike was great. A single. Like you would just have to spare. And the teams who spared, like I think we actually did end up winning the gold that year just because we just spared. We'd throw like 1180 and we'd spare everything and we'd win. But obviously it sounds like the lanes have changed for the better, which is good to hear.
I'm gonna see if I have the stats pack from the Open. Maybe, I don't. Anyways, if I remember correctly, Brad Wilton dominated up there. He played super well up there, for Calgary, and I think, I was second highest with a 243 average, and then we had Eric Christensen, Freddie, Harvey. Were the other ones on? Like it wasn't like it was abysmal. Like 28 counts on spares were the best you could do. Like very minimal. You could run something up there, right? I remember playing Central. I think we I think at one point both our teams had like in the first 5 frames we had 19 corners. Brad Glenn had a hell of a day up there. I remember.
Yeah. Brad Glenn played really good.
Yeah.
Well, do we want to wrap the show up?
What about a wheel spin? We haven't done a wheel spin in a while.
Wheel spin? Sure, let's hammer on a wheel.
Actually, I think we did some 2 weeks ago, but
Let's put Parker on the spot with a question then. Yes.
let's find it here. Okay, share the screen, and then I have to actually share it. Actually do that. There we go. Look at me. Learning, guys. Learning.
I love the name of it.
It's very accurate, isn't it? Oh. Question from Sarah Bear. If you could make a Canadian dream team picking one player per province, who would you pick?
Oh God.
Let's start with...
Do we have to go 10? Or can we...
Or there's 11.
In the spirit of the Open, you can pick 6.
Okay. Just can't double pick the problem.
Mixed or not mixed?
We'll go mixed.
Oh, I don't even know.
Okay, and not including ourselves, right?
Obviously, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I give up.
You give up? You haven't even started.
Because we're gonna offend somebody here, and I just
You make a living out of that. Why stop now?
yeah, fair. One per province.
I'm not wrong.
Parker, you got 6 spots. One.
Do I even know 6? No, I'm just kidding. Okay, so I got to pick one. I got to pick 6 spots, and they all have to be different provinces.
Yeah.
And they all have to be active players?
I don't think so. No, it's a dream team. You can dream.
Okay. Oh,
Oh boy.
Can I start?
Sure.
Please.
Yes, excellent. Oh God.
Can I
Ooh,
start? Oh, I don't have an answer.
I picked Brad Glynn from Newfoundland. Suck it, Shane Chafe.
Who's that?
Yeah, exactly. Connie Ward, Ontario. Karen Armstrong, Winnipeg, Manitoba. Lloyd Weens, Saskatchewan.
Lloyd.
Oh, you're running out of.
It's tough because we have to think about it.
Well, like Alberta, like I'd be silly not to pick Diane Violini for my third girl, or Jen Baker. Oh man. And obviously got to pick Frank Levine from BC. Is that 6?
You could count him as in Quebec too.
Oh, hey.
Interesting choice.
This is a long question because these guys will never figure it out.
This is gonna be tough. I'm trying to.
it has to be a mixed team too. Is the rule?
Yeah.
I think we're gonna have to repeat people here.
Probably, for sure. This is why I spin the wheel.
And I'll go next.
Okay. All right.
Okay, just top of my head here, because it makes no sense. We gotta have 3 ladies, 3 men. So I said Bruce, Fraser Hamley, Baker. I put Shane Chaffin.
You've got 2 from Alberta.
That's go fuck yourself. I put Shane Chaffin. Okay, you know what? I'll take Baker out. Okay, I put Shane Chaffin just because Shane needs some love.
Wow, you're gonna take out Baker?
No, yeah, I'll take out Baker because Bruce is better. Shane, Alyssa Spark, Sandy Anderson, and Helene Gomez.
Nice. Once you figured out the rules of the game, you rifled that off pretty fast.
Yeah, I got this. I got this thing here. So, anyways, let's just. Okay, Parker, who's up?
Okay, I'm gonna go Jeff Bourne.
Jeff.
I was gonna take Bruce Mortar, but I mean Timmy already. I'd still throw Bruce on there. I'm gonna take Joe Cranabetter from BC.
Oh, there we go.
Connie Ward. Yeah, now it's gonna get Karen Armstrong. Oh no, I have 2 Manitoba.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know enough elite female bowlers here. This is gonna outside of Alberta, so we're gonna. This is gonna get tough. Who's an elite bowler, female bowler?
You've got Josie in Saskatchewan. You got Alyssa. Oh, you still have Manitoba.
Megan
Galgano. We'll throw Josie on there for sure.
Okay.
So that's 5. And Jen Baker when she was in Newfoundland.
There you go. Way to work the system.
We're manipulating the rules. See how I did that, Tim?
Well done. Well done.
Fuck you guys. Yeah.
Dex?
I'm struggling to come up with my last female.
Madison Richter out of BC. Maud Rondeau out of Quebec. Chantal Cyr. Mary Jo McKenzie in PEI.
Yeah, I like that. All right, yeah, that's what I'm going to go with. Okay, Bruce Mortar, Rob Shannis, Doug Mosdell, Connie Ward, Megan, and Chantel.
Nice.
Yeah.
Tyler?
I'm going to go Renee Leframbois.
Good pick.
Alyssa Campbell. Jen Baker. I don't know what province. Northern Ontario, Manitoba, Alberta. Mitch Davies. Did I pick someone from Quebec? I don't think I did, right? Sly.
No.
Take Sly. And he hasn't played in a while, but he's such a good teammate. Michael West.
Oh, Witsy, there you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Wisty. Well, now that we took 32 minutes to pick our teams, can everybody else in the chat just throw in your dream teams? Let us know who you wanted. Look at that. We already got people posting. Parker,
Perfect.
once again, congratulations. A tour title is not easy to take down, and especially 299 entry tour event.
Someone turn off
Pretty
my
amazing.
Apple reactions. I was trying to
Yeah,
throw balloons or something for you.
The only
thought it was
person that
dumb.
can do that is you.
Damn it.
That's not you.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it, guys. It was
Yeah.
Yeah.
it was a fun weekend for sure.
Yeah, you played incredible, man.
I
It was fun
won't
watching.
forget that weekend.
No, for sure. You never forget your first, right? That's the thing. The thing people say.
Do you forget any of
That's
them?
that's no, I don't.
You will in like 5 years when dementia kicks in.
It's right there. Yeah.
I didn't make the old joke this time.
No.
It's two of you. Sucks.
Oops.
Yeah.
Well, best of luck in your. You guys have Pro League?
Yeah, I think that's coming up the 17th of March, so a couple weeks. I think we both 3 games that week, and that almost wrapped. I think.
Are
pretty
you
close.
You're on the Top of Roses, correct?
That would be correct.
You played this Sunday.
Oh, do we?
Yeah.
That's a Stacy job. I let Stacy say. I get a text saying you're playing Sunday at whatever time.
Yeah.
And I
Well,
just go,
you'll see it posted on Facebook tomorrow morning.
well, that doesn't help me. I don't have Facebook, Carrie.
What?
Yeah.
No,
I did not know that.
no.
You missed
I
out on
like
that?
purged social media like a year and a half ago, pretty much.
There you go. I
Yeah, I
would,
gotta
but
relax.
bowling is all on Facebook, so
I know
I'm
that sometimes throws a bit of a wrinkle, but
yeah,
People will let
for
you know.
sure.
It's fine.
All right.
Oh,
Well,
Maybe it'll all be posted in JB's new forum. You can go that route.
Which he probably doesn't know about because he's not on Facebook.
You're right. JB started a new bowling forum. Maybe it'll be posted in there.
hey, good to know.
Yeah.
I'll get right on that.
yeah, for sure. All right. For everybody, tune in to the 5PL this Sunday. If not, we'll see you all next week on next week's podcast. We got a big one, so pay attention. All right. Have a good night, guys.
Thanks, guys.
Cheers.